From the dawn of the world's history, corn has been one of man's basic foods. These fine acres of wheat and barley are growing and ripening to a glorious golden harvest on some of the richest soil in the world, the flat and extremely fertile fenland of England. The fens stretch for many miles on the east and north sides of Peterborough, whilst to the west and south of the city lie the shire counties of Northampton, Rutland and Huntingdon. The cathedral city of Peterborough is actually situated in its own administrative area of the Soak of Peterborough, without and yet part of the county of Northamptonshire. Much of its prosperity is due to agriculture and engineering, and the combination of the two in mechanized farming. Holland is justly famous for its tulip and other bulbs, but these scenes have not, as one may suppose, been taken in the Dutch fields. The fens skirting Peterborough have provided these colourful pictures, and the flower bulb industry has rapidly become an important one, besides attracting thousands of visitors annually to the fens. Typically English is this country village scene, an ancient church sheltered amid trees in full spring blossom. The countryside surrounding Peterborough is full of oldie-worldy scenes such as coaching houses and quaint little tea houses. Fine modern shop-lined streets replace the old-fashioned, however, in the city itself. The old market square is still used as such twice weekly, and behind it stands the ancient Guild Hall of Peterborough. Completely separate from the noise and bustle of the city around it stands the great Norman Cathedral. The magnificent west front is early English in style and has been described as the finest in Europe. One of the prettiest and most pleasant places in Peterborough is the park, with its well-kept lawns and flower beds. What could be more delightful during the warm summer months than a quiet afternoon under the trees, or perhaps to spend one's leisure in the lovely sunken gardens? The city stands on both banks of the River Nene, which is spanned by wide bridges which cross the railway and the slow-moving waterway. The white sails of the yacht club craft make a pleasant picture as the yachtsmen take advantage of the breeze. The river provides pleasant relaxation and interest for the population of Peterborough. A great British industrial firm in Peterborough is the company of F. Perkins Limited, and from an aeroplane, the huge ultra-modern factory can be seen to full advantage. Situated some 2 miles north of the city centre, the 20-roof spans cover a floor area of over 600,000 square feet and form the centre from which high-quality diesel engines go out to all parts of the world for no less than 377 different applications. Centre of the organisation is a modern brick-built office block, so planned that the employees work in the maximum of light. The lovely rose, national flower of England, holds pride of place among the well-laid-out lawns and flower beds. Dominating the approach to the offices is the great doorway and ornamental pond. Chiselled in the stone above the entrance to the spacious hall is a very apt quotation taken from the Holy Bible. Where there is no vision, the people perish. And now for our first glimpse of the inside of the most up-to-date diesel factory in the world. The parallel main assembly lines for the P-series engines can be seen here, and they are continuously on the move. The cylinder blocks are lowered onto the moving pallets or stands at one end of the line, and in a remarkably short time are lifted off as completed engines, ready to undergo their trials in the test shop. To ensure maximum efficiency with little if any time lost, all sub-assembly lines join the main line at right angles at the exact point where the fitting of the sub-assembly is to be effected. As we move closer, we can see the quiet efficiency of the fitters. Method is the keynote here. As the engines pass along the assembly line, each operation is carried out methodically, so that the next workman is not unduly rushed and yet is not left with time dragging on his hands. Pneumatic tools make light of arduous tasks, such as tightening down the many nuts. The nuts holding down the cylinder heads are not only tightened down by these tools, but are also automatically tightened to the correct torque at the same time. The cylinder head is actually lifted onto the top of the block as one complete unit, having been previously built up on the sub-assembly benches. The rocker cover is fitted, and the engine is now almost ready to be taken to the test shop. Many of the machines installed in the factory work almost on their own. This transfer multi-spindle drilling machine, for instance, once the cylinder head has passed along the rollers into position, needs only the touch of several buttons by the operator, and the drills close upon the work from above and both sides. These next few scenes will show the great variety of intricate automatic machinery used here in the preparation of material for ultimate use in the making of Perkins diesel engines. Every machine tool and all the general equipment used in this modern factory are less than 3 years old and are changed as conditions and efficiency demand. Each individual engine leaves the factory with a guarantee, but not before it has been run and given a thorough test by skilled operators in the large test shop. Engines are lifted from the main assembly lines and by means of an overhead railway system travel direct into the test shop. Fuel consumption figures, oil pressure, and general performance on load at various given speeds are all checked and have to satisfy the inspectors before the engines are passed out into the final shops for finishing off and spraying. An almost continual line of lorries and vehicles leaves this doorway, taking finished diesel engines into service all over the world. Thousands of visitors are conducted round the factory each year, all eager to see some of the wonders of diesel engine production. Here, Mr. Richard Perkins, Director and Export Manager, points out features of interest to a party of visitors which includes the Member of Parliament for Peterborough, Mr. Harmer Nichols. Mr. Nichols owns a Perkins-engined car, which excited much interest when he was touring the continent, and also earned him the title of Perkins Diesel Ambassador. Outside, a Fordson tractor fitted with a Perkins diesel engine is given a close examination. Inside the factory, visitors are always impressed with the light pastel shades used throughout, which reduce eye strain. On the right, Mr. Frank Perkins, the Chairman and Managing Director, can be seen here returning to his office after conducting his own guests round the factory. Inside these roomy, air-conditioned offices, the clerical staff, as in the material control department here, find work pleasant and congenial. All the components that are used in the production of the diesel engines are controlled here, from the time of the purchase of the raw material to the distribution within the works. Just as plans are produced for the building of a house, so drawings and specifications are essential to diesel engines, and the draftsmen in this large, well-illuminated drawing office are constantly striving to improve the product and its applications. A vital adjunct to the preparation of drawings is the technical and research departments. For example, here is the Metallurgical Research Laboratory, which is engaged on the constant check of new materials. These departments have many scientific instruments for the use of the backroom boys engaged on the work for the improvement of the world-famous engines. No, this isn't the end of the world, just the finish of one shift. By various means of transport, the men and women leave the factory for their homes. Now is leisure time, and full recreational facilities are provided by the well-supported Sports Association. Naturally, cricket is always well supported, but a sport which is rapidly becoming a popular pastime with both men and women is an ancient one, archery. The facial expression is obviously all important to a would-be Robin Hood. Not bad shooting, eh? A group of employees have formed a self-help building society, doing all the actual work themselves during their evenings and weekends. The 28 houses originally planned have now been completed and occupied, and the motto, "Build your own homes," is being carried on by the next group of keen home builders. This lineup of beauty is competing for the title of Miss Perkins Diesel at one of the yearly Works at Home days. The judges look like having a difficult job, but if they can't make up their minds, there is always the audience to choose from. Ah, the lucky girl at last. Not the one in the funny hat, he's just jealous. Mrs. Griffiths, wife of the company's production director and general manager, congratulates the winner and her two attendants and presents a bouquet to the lovely girls. Every other year, the company organizes what is called a Works at Home for their employees. This takes place in the factory itself and its grounds. Here, an audience gathers to hear the welcoming speeches of Mr. Freddy's on the rostrum by charming, though rather camera-shy, children of employees. Mr. Perkins, here they are given the opportunity of seeing what Daddy does. They are also enabled to test for themselves many of the different types of vehicles in which Perkins engines are the power units. Additional pleasure is provided for them by roundabouts, sideshow stalls, swing boats, and many other attractions. Grown-ups do not always realize that the kiddies soon tire of walking around, but the company officials put that right by converting small runabout trucks into miniature children's coaches with grandstand seats. This general view shows how much organizing work is necessary to plan such a day. Oh, if only the weather were like this every year. But in any case, what a wonderful day out. Perkins engines are exhibited at shows all over the British Isles and overseas. A welcome always awaits customers or prospective customers on every Perkins stand. This is a typical agricultural show stand with many tractors and engines on view. A special team of employees has been trained to build, dismantle, and move the stand equipment quickly from show to show. Also exhibited on the stand are some well-known mix of tractors into which Perkins diesel engines have been installed. Perkins representatives can be seen answering questions asked by interested visitors. At all exhibitions, the company's stands are manned by experienced sales and service staffs to deal with the many questions presented to them by owners and customers. Here, a working sectionalized L4TA engine is being televised by the British Broadcasting Corporation on the Ministry of Agriculture's stand at the Royal Agricultural Society's show. A mobile caravan is used as an office behind the stand for the transaction of the company's business with prospective customers who attend the shows. This is the Perkins diesel engine generating set which supplies the electric power for the stand. The Perkins Agricultural Drivers Club also has an office on every exhibition stand. To this club belong many thousands of drivers of tractors which are powered by Perkins engines. Members and their wives are always cordially welcomed. A notable feature of the agricultural shows in Great Britain is the number of manufacturers and dealers' stands on which Perkins engines are exhibited either as exhibition engines or installed in the numerous agricultural applications for which the engines are easily adapted. At certain approved agricultural shows, vehicles are exhibited fitted with Perkins engines. A number of these vehicles have been specially adapted for agricultural purposes. Altogether, 110 manufacturers of vehicles, plant and equipment fit Perkins engines, and some of the stands of these world-famous manufacturers are shown here. The company exhibit both directly or indirectly at all major overseas shows, as far afield as the Royal Agricultural Show in Australia and the Toronto International Trade Fair in Canada, as well as the more numerous shows in Europe and other countries. At the British Industries Fair, better known as the BIF, held at Castle Bromwich, Birmingham, where the part devoted to engineering and heavy machinery is held, Perkins engines are of course exhibited in numbers in the many industrial applications which have the engine as the power unit. These applications cover a wide range from road rollers to stacker trucks and straddle carriers. In case a straddle carrier sounds an unusual vehicle, here is an example. It takes up bulky loads within itself, as it were. When the P-series engines were first introduced by the company in 1937, the original object was to provide suitable power units for lightweight commercial and passenger vehicles. These engines achieved immediate success in this field due chiefly to their adaptability and reliability. In addition, the money-saving advantages of the engines soon became an added incentive to would-be customers. The range of engines has been increased since 1945 to fit into all types and makes of vehicles. As shown here, many famous names can be seen, amongst which are Austin, Bedford, Commer, Dennis, Dodge, Ford, Guy, Sedan, Chevrolet, DAF, DFA, Fargo, International Harvester, Jensen, Rutland, Shelvoke and Drury, DeSoto, and Trojan vehicles. A recent addition to the vehicles fitted with Perkins engines are refuse collectors and gully emptiers, now operated by over 200 different municipalities in Great Britain. Further, to assist owners and operators of Perkins diesel engine vehicles and to reduce the expensive vehicle off the road period due to major overhauls after the engine's long life, a replacement scheme whereby completely factory rebuilt units were available immediately was introduced. This scheme was named and is still called the Perpetuity Plan. Through this scheme, the owner is enabled to order, through his usual motor trader, a reconditioned unit at any time convenient to himself. This reconditioned engine carries the same guarantee as a production model and, of course, incorporates the latest modifications. A conversion which is becoming increasingly popular is that of the Land Rover, a vehicle which, as can be seen, is ideal over rough ground, whilst at the same time is economical on fuel when fitted with a diesel engine. The car seen arriving at the Eastfield factory main entrance has as its power unit a P6C type diesel engine. The saving on fuel costs is quite remarkable, as is the performance, and on closer inspection it can be seen how snugly the engine fits into the chassis. The Perkins diesel slogan, "Power Standardization," is graphically demonstrated by these next scenes. These diesel engines can be and are fitted into 377 different power applications, to which total many are added each year. Industrial engines are fitted into compressor sets, dumpers, cranes, power packs, road rollers, straddle carriers and welding sets, to mention but a few, and all are suitable for the installation of industrial type engines. Diesel compressor sets are operated by many companies throughout the world. A Ransoms and Rapier crane, powered by a P6 industrial engine, uses a grab bucket to unload coal direct from the railway trucks to feed the furnaces of industry. One of the most useful small industrial applications is the jumbo mobile crane. In the world-famous China clay pits of Cornwall, Perkins engines again play an arduous role in helping to promote the country's export of China ware to all parts of the world. A Muirhill dumper is used for the transportation of the heavy clay to the processing plant. The important brickyard industry in and around Peterborough also uses small forklift trucks powered by diesel engines. As a point of interest here, special air filters and cleaners are fitted to these engines, as obviously the heavy dust-laden atmosphere of the still warm brick kilns would adversely affect the life of the engines. Here we see a Chase-side Fordson major mechanical loader, saving the labor of at least 3 men and 2 hours laborious work. A Fordson major tractor, when fitted with bulldozing equipment, has a diversity of uses in the industrial and agricultural world. Despite the widely differing applications into which diesel engines can be fitted, this giant British Overseas Airways Corporation aircraft is not, as yet, included in the list. However, before its own mighty engines can carry it swiftly out of sight, this Perkins-engined Mercury Air tug plays an important part by towing the aircraft to the passenger embarking station. The Mercury Air tug is standardized and used by BOAC, BEA and other airlines at all airports at home and overseas. A diesel-engined Murex ground power unit is also used to assist in the initial starting and servicing of the aircraft. Arpic, Climax, Roman Wade and other makes of compressor sets are widely used to power compressed air automatic picks and shovels for road construction and repair. Road laying is not the laborious process it was up to a few years ago. As with other applications, the diesel makes all the difference. This is a Barber Green Olding diesel-powered machine which spreads an even layer of tarmac for the Road Marshall diesel roller to finish into a smooth road for the thousands of diesel-powered commercial and passenger vehicles using the roads. Another example of the Perkins engine versatility is this Bagley diesel shunting locomotive, amongst others used in private yards and also by British Railways. Perkins in the agricultural field have been largely instrumental in introducing to large and small farmers the benefits of economic mechanization on an ever-increasing scale. We see here the Bristol diesel crawler type tractor harrowing on a slope of a gradient of 1 in 3. Examples of the agricultural conversion engines are shown at work in a Ferguson tractor and in a pre-1952 Fordson Major tractor. The Ferguson tractor is seen operating in a potato field, and the pre-1952 Fordson Major tractor is also at work cultivating. The L4TA conversion engine is also fitted into the Nuffield Universal type tractor. These diesel conversion units, with all the necessary installation parts, are available for farmers in every country. The changeover of engines takes very little time. The 3-cylinder diesel engines are fitted in Alice Chalmers tractors, of which this is an example. The 4-cylinder diesel engines are fitted in the rotary hoe narrow gauge platypus tractors, one of which is seen here engaged in spraying the hops in Kent. Another Perkins engine also provides power for the sprayer. The Massey Harris Company are fitting Perkins engines into all tractors of their make built in Great Britain. Engines are also installed by Massey Harris in their 726 and 780 combine harvesters. Diesel conversion units can also be supplied for these machines. An example is this 726 combine harvester at work. These machines, capable of so much work in the short harvesting season and so reliable in operation, have proved themselves as boons to large farmers and also, through the good offices of contractors, to small farmers everywhere. In conjunction with grain dryers, these harvesting machines greatly reduce the time nature normally requires in harvesting work. One of the Peterborough Company's notable achievements is the supply of diesel engines to manufacturers in Germany, Switzerland, Italy, America, France, and many other countries. The Class Super Diesel Combine Harvester is an example of this close relationship between the engine maker and such manufacturers. Now let us follow our camera's eye to Africa. This batch of Fordson Major tractors shows the popularity of the company's engines in this country, where in Johannesburg, a subsidiary company of F. Perkins Limited is operating and building perpetuity replacement engines. It looks hot and dusty work when using disc plows, which appear to be the most popular type of plow in the African continent. The Perkins worldwide coverage now brings us to New Zealand, where this Fordson Major county crawler is engaged on the very worthwhile task of ploughing reclaimed volcanic land. By the time this driver has completed his job, he certainly should be fitted to take part in a rodeo. Our cameraman has now arrived in France, where the 4-cylinder diesel engines are fitted by the Renault company into their tractors. Another internationally well-known manufacturer fits the diesel engine into the Saint-Chamond tractors. Perkins in France are represented by the French company of Société Française des Moteurs, F. Perkins. The French company, who until recently took factory-built engines, have now come to an arrangement to build engines in France, the company of Atelier GSP building the engines in their factory at Courbevoie on behalf of the French company. Moving on now to Dordrecht in Holland, we see a dockside Perkins-powered mobile crane unloading a commercial vehicle chassis frame. In the yard of the Municipal Cleansing Department at The Hague, Holland, are refuse collection sedan vehicles, Perkins-powered, built by the Dutch firm of W. van Twist. Moving from The Hague to Utrecht in Holland, where the town and railway station service, owned by a private company, is operating Diamond T and Fordson coaches, fitted with diesel conversion engines. We see also coaches built by the Dutch government-controlled firm of DAF. These coaches, together with DAF commercial vehicles, are standardized with Peterborough-made diesel engines. In spite of the almost incredible number of cyclists in Holland, the Dutch people still enjoy a ride in a diesel-powered coach. And so to Ghent, Belgium, where we see this Chevrolet coach fitted with a conversion engine. Leaving Antwerp docks is this Minerva truck, also Perkins-powered. These XWD vans, operated by the Brussels Corporation, have diesel engines which supply power both for driving the vehicle and also for driving the generator for the electric welding equipment used in repairing tram lines. This magnificent memorial in France has been erected to the memory of the resistance movement members who gave their lives during the late war. The Bedford R6 powered vehicle will be given plenty of grueling work in this mountainous country. Traveling onwards to India, a good example of the old style of transport shows up vividly against the modern cars and coaches, amongst which are many powered by diesel engines. The Bombay State Transport, for example, own and operate over 3,000 buses and commercial vehicles, all Perkins engined. Another aspect of the company's diesel activities is reflected in the use of their engines as marine propulsion units. These marine engines were familiar to the fighting services during the late war, when many thousands of them were fitted into the air-sea rescue craft and Royal Naval pinnaces, target practice towing boats for the Army, and many other marine applications. Fitted into all classes of boats, from the fishing smack to the luxury cruiser, the reliability of the engines has been proved time and again, and has no doubt added much to their popularity. This lovely boat, in its peaceful setting, is powered by two P6M marine-type engines, which were installed by a Dutch firm of boat builders. During the summer holidays on the coasts of England and the continent, happy holiday makers may always be seen enjoying a trip in these marine-engine streamlined craft, here seen showing their paces. Quite apart from their reliability and economy, diesel engines offer another advantage in marine use. Their fuel is non-volatile at ordinary temperatures, and therefore the fire risk associated with the use of petrol or paraffin is eliminated. The River Thames is known as the gateway to the world and serves the largest city of the world. Here, the ships and boats of all nations come to load and unload their merchandise. The Metropolitan River Police operate over 30 boats, all of which are fitted with Perkins marine diesel engines. We must remember that these boats, which we see patrolling on this fine day, also keep their watch day and night in all weathers, when the reliability of the engine is so essential. In addition to the School of Instruction at Peterborough, the company operates a fleet of mobile schools, one type of which is illustrated. The near side of the vehicle opens out to form a platform on which can be displayed two sectionalized engines. The schools are fitted with complete radio, loudspeaker, and recording units. The loudspeaker system enables the instructor to give lectures to as many as 200 people at once. The cutaway engines do much to assist the lecturer to explain the finer details of a diesel engine. And now, as we approach the end of our story, let us recapitulate. The diesel engine is much more economical than the petrol or paraffin or any other competitive type of engine. It is much more reliable. It starts easily by the pressing of a button. It has a long life and costs comparatively little to maintain. It is readily adaptable to every power requirement. The diesel engine, as shown, produced at Peterborough, is a triumph for the manufacturers and a priceless piece of equipment for power users everywhere. Dieselization implies, as never before, a readily obtained power standardization for the world's ever-growing demand for mechanization.